So I'm going to start by talking about the state in the United States that has gone the furthest soonest to become the hiding place for the rich. South Dakota. You might not have thought about it, but there it is. Here's what South Dakota has done, and it started back in 1981 when the South Dakota legislature abolished a cap on interest rates. Most states in the union say you can't charge interest rates above 10%, 20%, 30% to keep a lid on what credit card companies would likely do. And if you've wondered why your credit card company is now locating its headquarters in South Dakota, well, now you know. They abolished all limits. You can go as high as you want, something that might comfort you in the cold winter night when thinking about what your credit card or your bank is likely to try to do to you in the years ahead. So first, South Dakota did that. And why did it do it? So that credit card companies would come to South Dakota, establish an office there, hire a local accountant maybe, or 2 or 6 or 9, or maybe a local lawyer or someone to look over all of this. And that would make money for people at the South Dakota area. I'm being as polite as I can. And then South Dakota just took off. When that wasn't enough, they did something extraordinary. They developed trusts. They allow the law to set up trusts, and I want to give you an idea of how they work. Perhaps the most famous is the Settler Trust. And here's how it works. A billionaire, who's a settler, that's what they call them, can set up a fund in South Dakota, put it in the hands of a trustee, that's a South Dakota lawyer or a South Dakota hustler of one kind or another, and make it for the beneficiary of, say, the billionaire's son or daughter or wife or cousin or uncle or you name it. And the beauty? None of this has to be reported to anyone. And it's a secret. And if the government comes of the United States and asks questions, or the government of another country, if the billionaire is located there, comes and asks questions, no information will be given. The trustee will say, I'm just holding it for someone else. The beneficiary will say, I had nothing to do with setting it up. And the billionaire who set it up, well, he said, it's not mine, I gave it to the trustee. That's all legal. And so nobody is responsible for anything. Then they did it even better. They made perpetual trusts that could be handed down from one part of the family when they die to the descendants. Nobody has to tell anybody or pay any inheritance tax or estate tax because there's no way to figure it out. And then they went one step further. They sealed the papers that set up the trust in the first place. So those are secret too. Well, let me give you an idea of how South Dakota has done with this hustle of secrecy. In 2011, roughly 10 years ago, South Dakota trusts held in total $57 billion. Now, today, it's estimated at, get ready, $360 billion. And since at least 5 or 6 other U.S. states are rushing to do for themselves what South Dakota already did, if you add up what they've already collected, it's now estimated, at over $1 trillion of hidden wealth. Now, folks, let's be real clear. If the United States government, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter, didn't want to permit this to the billionaires, it would take 5 minutes to pass the federal laws to stop this, to deny to South Dakota or the other states the right to do this. But neither Republicans nor Democrats have. In fact, the Republicans who control South Dakota have gone one step further. They've announced that, you see, this is how, I kid you not, the free market works. In other words, They've clothed their it's beyond words. They're unethical, they're fundamentally illegal in terms of the spirit of the law behavior in the ideological clothing of a market economy, which is enabling the richest of the rich to hide and steal and deny the rest of us the taxes they would otherwise have had to pay, which could provide the services we would otherwise be able to enjoy. The cost is ours. The benefit is to billionaires.